Paywall Shrek is the name of our Patreon.
We're gonna keep changing it.
We just put it behind the Shrek paywall.
That should just be the final tier. Like the highest tier. Yeah, paywall.
Anytime Shrek gets mentioned on Made Feed, it's gonna get bleeped out because paywall cannot give that out for free.
What did they say? I don't know. It must have been bad.
You gotta go on Patreon.
Only say Shrek. It's a new curse we invented. Cartoons that make up curses.
Actually, every time you start the show, most people don't know this, you're actually saying, "What the Shrek is up, everyone."
That's true.
What the Shrek is up, everybody.
Mikey hid that for so long. Yeah.
Well, the Shrek paywall is real, though. If y'all want to hear us talk about Shrek, we got a Patreon. It's called
That's
Cartoons
true.
That Curse After Dark. And for $5 a month, you get 2 bonus episodes, and you get all of our main feed episodes in their entirety 1 week early. So normally you get the first half, and then the following week you get the second half. But if you're part of the Patreon, you get that full thing the same day as the first half goes public on our public feed. So check it out. Sign up. I think our Shrek episode is great. Listen back to it.
I do too.
It's really good.
We were so fucking drunk. That shit is ridiculous.
we were really enjoying ourselves. It was a good time.
I think it's in the preview too, but there's a point where like I'm explaining something, then I stop and I say, "Wow, I'm drunk," and then I keep going.
That's the best kind.
You were all about that. So I guess should we talk about Shrek 4D getting closed down? That's sad. I've never seen Shrek 4D or been on the ride.
I never got to go see it. I'm jealous.
We should go, John. We could probably still go.
So, Mikey, I was thinking the same thing, but I think it's actually the Universal in Florida. I don't think it actually is here.
It is
really?
going to Florida because I've been on Shrek 4D multiple times.
But there wasn't a Shrek 4D in Hollywood?
I don't think. I think
was there one when like it first opened up?
It closed at Universal Hollywood in 2017. So there was one.
Damn.
I don't know what replaced it.
I didn't know.
I was like, we're building cartoons that curse for it.
I didn't know they had a Hollywood Universal until I became an adult because I always went to the Florida one as a kid.
I drive past it every day. It's so close to me. There's a giant minion.
Did you see they had like
creepily looking over a building at the highway every time I pass by?
Did you ever see there's like
the Florida one?
There's like the donkey that like there's like an impersonator who's like talking to people as they walk by.
Wait, really?
Did you ever see? Yeah, there was like this little window, and there's like this animatronic / donkey puppet, and there's like an Eddie Murphy impersonator, and he's just like talking shit to people who walk by and who are standing around.
That must be a fun job, just to do an Eddie Murphy impersonation and talk shit as a donkey.
Did they get the Eddie Murphy impersonator? Because it's like there's the one guy who's just like perfect. It's just Eddie Murphy,
the white guy from Mulan 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got him, man.
But he's the perfect Eddie Murphy.
He's a good get though.
I've never seen Mulan 2. I didn't realize. I guess that makes sense. They couldn't get Eddie Murphy for Mulan 2.
They should get him for Shrek 5.
He had already moved on to Shrek by then.
Yeah, right? Baby. They have like at the Hollywood studio thing. One of the Disney parks, they have like a little attraction where like Mushu teaches you how to animate, and I don't know if that's Eddie Murphy or not. It might not be.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know if they got him for that.
Why would
it's so funny how Disney will get around or like I guess not even Disney with the Shrek stuff, but like it's so funny how you have these big famous names doing these characters, and then they have who they get to replace them in like all of the media that's not like the mainline media. Like I know Tom Hanks' brother does all the Woody voices in all the video games and stuff.
Right,
that's funny.
Dan Castellaneta did Genie
in Return of Jafar. That's right.
Yeah,
in
everything, everything but the first Aladdin.
In the last one, they got Robin Williams back for the last.
They got Robin Williams back for the last one. Yeah.
He came back from King of Thieves, but I don't think he's in the cartoon. I think that's still Dan Castellaneta.
No, that's still
That's
Dan
definitely
Castellaneta
Dan. That's definitely Dan.
because Return of Jafar was never meant to be a movie. It was actually originally just a pilot for that cartoon. And they realized they could make a bunch of money. And it worked. As a kid, I was like, there's 2 Aladdin movies. And they're both just as good as one another. They're both great.
Gross.
And then I watched Return of Jafar a few years ago, and I was like, oh, this does not hold up.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah,
that was
really,
the first
really
time I
bad.
realized as a kid that movies could be bad. I was like, oh, movies can be bad? I didn't know that was a thing.
So like I had them both on VHS, so they like looked the same. You know what I mean? Like even though the animation is so much worse in Return of Jafar, like watching them
really
on VHS
worse.
and 4:3
Much
as a
worse.
kid, I was just like, it's just Aladdin. These are both Aladdin. And then I watched them on Blu-ray a few years back, and I was like, oh, Aladdin is a gorgeous, gorgeous film, and Return of Jafar is horrendously ugly.
Man, they letting their nuts hang when they put them damn straight to DVD movies on Blu-ray, man. The fucking Beauty and the Beast.
They're on
ones that
Blu-ray?
like shit.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
that fucking you know the one, the Beauty and the Beast one that looks like shit though. Is that Enchanted Christmas? That shit is on Blu-ray.
I mean, it does.
No, but the one that looks like shit, like cell animated, like it like.
Oh.
Yeah. That
I don't know. Like the only thing hiding imperfections of those sequels were like all the artifact thing in the VHS. Like once they're real, they're terrible.
All
I
that
will
shit
say,
is
even though it was clearly just an impression, Dan Castellaneta's impression of Robin Williams' Genie is pretty good. It was missing the like charm and like improvisation of Robin, but like as a dollar store Robin Genie, I was like, oh, you know, he earned his paycheck for this, I think.
Yeah, he kind of comes into his own in the show, like
right.
That
makes sense.
He ekes out a nice role for himself.
Good for him. You know, I feel like that guy needs more
Robbie
work.
Rob.
Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah, he's so fucking underrated. I wish he would get like a big role sometime.
Yeah, something that'll last forever.
Like some kind of long running series where you get paid like a quarter of $1,000,000 per episode, maybe.
God could dream though, right?
Family sitcom called like Dan with an exclamation point.
Dan and Danimated.
Damn. Don't say Danimated to me. Don't say Danimated to me.
That's like a Fox Kids like a Louis but for Dan Castellaneta.
Louis. Oh my god, I forgot about Louis.
It's like Bobby's
Well,
Was it Louis or was
like
it
a
Life with Louis?
It was Life with Louis.
Life with Louis.
Louis is that's the Louis C.K. show.
That's the FX thing.
Yeah, I meant to say Life
that's the
with
one
Louis.
we don't talk about.
It's like a
we
don't
it's
tell
like
you.
Bobby's
That
World.
show doesn't exist anymore.
It is like Bobby's World.
Yeah, it's
I
like
loved Bobby's World as a kid. You know, Louis Anderson's had a nice like renaissance in
Has he?
I think he won an Emmy for Baskets. And he won an Emmy for Baskets, and he also is one of the funniest characters I've ever seen on a show I love called Search Party. He's in the 3rd season, the whole season, and he literally delivers a line that I think about weekly. That is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. He's really good at it. But yeah, Emmy Award winner as of like a few years ago.
What is it?
What?
Y'all gotta watch Baskets.
What's
The
the
line.
That's the line.
Oh, I can't say the line. I can't just do it.
Can't spoil it.
I can't just do
Can't
it.
take it.
You gotta
take it
watch
out
the
of
show.
context.
Everyone go watch
You
the
do
have to
show.
set
every
up
other
everything.
damn joke on this show.
The thing is that the context for the line is so important, and the context requires like 3 seasons of build up to get there. That would spoil all the good stuff
The
about
whole
Search
show
Party.
is building
watch
up
Search
to the
Party.
Louis Anderson line.
It's so good. Just
3
you gotta go.
seasons for one amazing joke.
No, the whole show is amazing. Highly recommend. Honestly, one of my favorite shows that's on right now. Can't say enough about how much I love Search Party. Well, we should probably get started, but we're gonna plug the Patreon one more time. Check out the Patreon. We're really grateful to the like almost 60 people who have already signed up, which is crazy. You guys are great. We're gonna start doing polls on there. We're gonna ask you guys what you guys want to see us talk about next. We're definitely doing at least 3 more Shrek movies. But, we could stretch that out. We could do Puss in Boots. We could do Shrek the Musical. We could do all of the shorts. We could do Shrek the Ride. We could do all of it because we all we all love Shrek. It's firmly established in our
maybe
first
like
bonus
one.
episode.
Maybe it's like the 4 movies and then 1 episode for everything else Shrek.
Well, I think we could do that for like the specials and the musical and like the 4D ride or whatever. But Puss in Boots is a whole ass movie. I feel like you guys
have
a
whole different franchise.
Yeah.
True.
One episode for like all the auxiliary Shrek.
Right. That's what the bonus episode will be called, auxiliary Shrek.
It's a Puss in Boots show.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's too much.
Terrible.
It does kind of fucking suck, doesn't it? I watched it.
I
watched it by accident once. It was on at like 3 a.m. on like the fucking Hub or something, and which is wild because it's a streaming show. But I caught it on the fucking Hub.
That's how I saw it. It auto played on Netflix for me.
Nah, I saw that shit.
Wild.
Well, I guess it wasn't the Hub by that point. I guess it was like Discovery Kids or whatever the fuck they named that shit. But yeah, I was just kind of watching it, and I was like, man, this looks like shit. That is definitely not Antonio Banderas.
Well, just you guys wait until Illumination's making Shrek movies, because we've all been waiting for that. We all love.
Been waiting for that.
Shrek's finally home.
Yeah, talk about a cursed cartoon. All right, let's cue the theme song.
Get it away from me.
I've been watching them for years, it's always been something that fit. With all the animated characters that's doing their own bits. With a fry who's in the future and a family guy that sucks. With a father from a hill, a burger family runs them up. The show inspires is the same guy, except he totally say and diverse.
Let's watch cartoons that curse.
Yeah, that's bananas.
That's rough.
What the f*** is up, everybody? Welcome to Cartoons That Curse, the podcast where we talk about cartoons that say swear words. My name is Johnny. I am your co-host here with the other co-host, Tariq, who's in a new location today. Tariq, tell us about this.
New location, new room, new me. The blue room is no more. I think the Shrek episode is the last time you'll ever see that bullshit. Here you have the classic MC Light. The classic Recess School's Out Recess video coming soon. Thank you, Johnny, for the poster.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
School's
new
out.
Crib. School's out, new crib.
School's out, new crib.
New crib.
And with that, let's introduce our guest this week. We have the incomparable D'Angelo Edwards, who you may know as Hats Off. Yeah, there's no one to compare you to, D'Angelo. Who are we going to compare you to?
He's the incredible Crunk.
Of Hats Off Media, where you might not recognize him because he's normally a little stick puppet, a really cute little stick puppet who talks about cartoons and other great stuff.
This is the fake me. I put this on to make appearances.
The real you is the puppet.
If I angle the camera down, you'll see the real me.
D'Angelo, thanks for
joining.
Whoa. I almost just glossed over that. Yo, man, we got to save that for Cartoons That Curse After Dark, man. We can't do that here. More
Cartoons That Curse Uncut. Ew.
Cartoons That Curse World Star.
We're putting that behind the Shrek paywall. D'Angelo, I'm so glad you came. So glad you decided to join us to talk about your favorite season of Archer, right? Archer Vice, your favorite. We were going to have you on for an earlier. We were going to have you on for an earlier episode, but then you said this one is your favorite, and I was like, oh well, you have to do that one. Why wouldn't you do that one? Yeah,
the guy who knows Vice inside and out. Well, I like to watch it.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're very excited to talk Archer with you, and I'm thinking we'll talk about it at the end. We didn't talk about this before we started recording, but I'm thinking we're gonna pause on Archer for a little bit after this one because we watched a lot of Archer recently, and we'll probably move on to a new series, which I guess we'll just talk through at the end of the episode today because we had an idea and I think we know what we're gonna do, but we'll probably just reveal it at the end.
Yeah.
So prepare for that. Unless this is part 1 of the 2 parts, then you have to wait till next week. Unless you sign up for our Patreon, then you can find out now. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to be doing that a lot. We just started the Patreon. I'm going to be plugging it all day.
Big cream.
So Archer Vice. You guys want to talk Archer Vice?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Archer Vice. So Archer Vice is the first themed season as they started to call them on Archer. So we've done 4 seasons of the ISIS spy agency, and which a name that did not age great, and
did not.
And then for this season, they decided to change things up by basically unveiling a whole new non-spy premise, though it is like related to, you know, the spy world in a way. So it doesn't
spy
feel
adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. It's spy adjacent. So it doesn't feel like a major departure, but it did keep everything really fresh. And watching through it, I always liked this season, but watching through it again, I was like, oh, this is one of the best seasons. Like, this is a really good season of this show. But what is interesting is this first episode, White Elephant, it starts off like a normal episode. It's like they did a normal episode of Archer. It had the normal theme song and the normal like intro title sequence, and then the end of it teases Archer Vice, and then the rest of the whole rest of the season is really Archer Vice.
Right.
Yeah. Gotta ease you in.
What did you guys think about that opening sequence where there was no dialogue with the flowers?
That shit is insane.
It's so good.
So good.
That shit is insane. That's literally my favorite.
I love how each rose keeps you guessing. It's like, oh, what they're gonna do when they get theirs.
Yeah. It was great.
I felt like just the opening in general, like even after the cold open and like they have like that big ass shootout and shit. Like I think that's probably the best opener to any of these seasons so far. Like the way that shit is like super exciting, like it's really like engaging and shit.
Totally.
Yeah. Then the reveal once they realize who they're fighting.
Yeah, that's such a good reveal. It's so funny when they reveal it's the FBI, but then also the new FBI guy coming in being like, "You guys, you have to announce you're the FBI first before you come in here."
And what happened to getting FBI on the fucking front?
Yeah, why do we have these on the front?
It's so funny. It's also like it's a great shootout sequence. Also, rest in peace, Brett. They finally killed Brett. He gets shot. He gets shot so much over the first 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Getting shot.
I remember when I first saw that scene, I gasped. I was like, is Brett? Did they actually kill Brett?
Is
right
Brett
right
really
here,
dead?
it's unambiguous. Unambiguous, right through the middle of the head. He's done for. Man, this was a great start to the season because it was like it was a smart way for them to set up the Vice concept. Like just the reveal that they've not been a U.S. government sanctioned spy agency for the entirety of the show is so funny and also makes so much sense.
It makes all the sense.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's great. And then like no one had any idea except for Mallory. Mallory is just such an evil mastermind throughout this whole damn show.
This whole season.
Especially the season. Like, yeah, this is the show, but especially the season. But man, and then also I love the interrogation scenes where like obviously Archer, Lana, and Mallory won't talk, but everyone else just explaining everything that they've done over the course of the whole show.
Crime. Yeah, it's so funny.
And then also just hearing them lay out like all of the crazy premises of Archer seasons 1 through 4 in a row like that is so funny to hear. It's like, wow, this show has done a lot of stuff. This is crazy.
They bring up cyborgs twice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I made another hotter cyborg out of a corpse.
Stolen parts and a corpse.
And a corpse. Oh, so good. And then yeah, it's a great setup for it. And then like the fact that they just lose the agency. There's also one line that was crazy, especially given where this whole season kind of takes the story. But when Archer and Lana kind of escape their interrogators and Archer kind of lays out like that they could be on the run together and like they could be together and like raise her baby and like be safe together. And she says, I would rather lose the baby.
I wrote that and then he's like about to fucking cry. Like,
yeah. He just comes back just like, come on, stupid, let's go.
But that's one thing I do love about this season is like Archer's always Archer, but you do see like the incremental improvement and like change in him where like this season he is his seemingly main priority outside of like it seems like his main priority that's consistent through the whole season is like Lana and her baby's well-being, which is kind of sweet. He's like he's always going nuts to make sure she's safe and protect her, which is nice, especially given what we'll talk about with the end of the season. But yeah, I love this first episode. I think it's such a smart way to set it up. Also, just ending it with Archer imagining a trailer for the whole season.
Yeah, that little it's a great little like it's really cool, like the way it's edited together. It looks really fun. It's like I was like, I want to watch this. I am watching this.
Now I remember them doing it, but I don't ever remember it being so fucking lengthy. That shit is like
it was long.
Yeah.
It's a full season trailer.
It's the Archer Vice, it's the Red Band.
I remember watching it and afterwards being like, wow, would they really show that much of the whole season, or was that just like literally meant to be in Archer's brain, like Archer imagining what being a drug dealer is going to be like? But nope, it's the whole season. They just laid it all out.
Yeah.
And man, is it fun. So yeah, obviously the big change is that instead of being a spy agency, they're now a drug cartel, which rules. It's great. They just have a bunch of cocaine to sell, and now they sell drugs.
They got a bunch of cocaine. They got to get rid of it fast.
And it's funny because it makes it seem like it makes you realize, like, oh yeah, I guess being a drug cartel and being in a secret spy agency, they do similar shit. Like, there's a lot of similar stuff going on between those kinds of organizations.
Lots of negotiations, lots of guns.
Hand in hand, it's some marriage there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What you guys got? Any other thoughts on this first episode? What do you think about this one?
I fucking love this one, man. Like, I didn't. Yeah, like just even though it's just mostly all set up, like it's really fucking fun and it's super engaging. It's just great. Like, I was like laughing the entire time because it kind of, even though it is mostly set up, it does feel like it almost feels like the entire like first 4 seasons built up to it. Just kind of how like they're like saying all of like the crimes and all the weird shit and everything like that, and like Brett finally fucking dies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think they did a really great job with this one. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite episodes of the show, honestly, because I really like how it's put together. It is.
Yeah. It is like, it is just like, I guess it's like 3 primary sequences with a great reveal at the end, and that is like, it's why it works, because the beginning, the cold open is just like a beautiful sequence with the flower thing, and then there's a great shootout sequence, and then the interrogation sequence is hilarious. So it's really just like it's just like it's doing different unique stuff but like right after one another. So it's a really good episode. And then obviously the big trailer. Exactly. Good shit.
Like, by the time the trailer rolls around, it's just like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
You've solved it.
Oh man. Hell yeah. Well, should we move on to the second one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. 502, A Kiss While Dying. The Return of Ramon, which I love to see.
Yeah. I love Ramon.
Who we haven't seen since Honey Pot in season 1. And Ramon's great, and I just love the sexual tension between him and Archer so much. Like, it's so entertaining. How he like
he is definitely in love with Ramon.
Archer is definitely in love with Ramon for sure. Maybe unwilling to admit it, but he loves him.
One of my only notes for this episode is "kiss" with an exclamation point.
Yep. And given the twist at the end of the episode, it's even funnier because because Ramon, like, it's almost as though Ramon did that whole last part of the like whole plan, just so he could make out with Archer.
Right.
Like his dying wish. But also even like him Archer kissing him, and then Lana walks in and he's just like,
I'm still going.
It's so good. Also just the beginning of Coked Up Pam, which is just the best. Coked Up Pam is the funniest. The fucking funniest.
So
ever.
She's everywhere this season, which makes sense because she's on coke.
Yeah. The first time I ever binged Arthur.
Arthur.
Oh yeah, Arthur Weiss, my favorite.
Arthur Weiss.
I love Arthur Weiss.
I would watch Arthur Weiss. That'd be so
watch
good.
The fuck out of Arthur Weiss. Who's on coke? Is it Brain or is it Nadine? It's fucking Nadine. Right.
Nadine.
We gotta do it now. We have to make this shit.
Oh my god. So we should make a logo for Arthur Weiss and sell that merch.
What if it was Fern?
Fern, ill. Nah, it's the what's the gray fucking cat's name?
Jenna?
Is that just the name Jenna? Okay, it's Jenna.
Yeah. Why do I know
and,
that?
Archer is played by George. Nah, but I was when I watched the first time I binged Archer, like Vice was the one that like stood out the most, and the image that I couldn't get out of my head the entire time we were doing this show was Pam in the fucking full body cast.
Yeah.
And she's like fucking eating it, and that's how she gets addicted. Like, it's so funny. It's such a
Well, it's not
funny
even that she was eating it. She gets addicted to it because she's wearing the cast and she sweats it into herself.
Yeah, sweating it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's basically their fault she gets addicted.
Very much so, yeah.
So
why did she
funny.
not wear plastic underneath the cast?
They exposed her to so much cocaine to the point where it is impossible not to get addicted at that point. She's like going in the shock in the fucking airport. She's like going in the shock in the airport.
Dude, she's going so nuts on cocaine the whole season. I can't remember what episode. It might be the next episode, so I'll bring it up then. But there's like a moment. There's a moment that's just a quick cutaway to Pam that is like one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But I'll just say it now. I think it's in the next one. It's either in this one or the next one, but it's when she and Lana are waiting in the car and she's like drumming because she's all coked up and she just is like
yeah.
It's so funny.
I just like seeing all the different ways she just starts to eat it. Like she makes cupcakes, she makes pudding, she
fucking yogurt.
She had whipped cream.
Whipped cream. And then at a certain point, they just said, fuck it. And then she just starts eating, like, leaves.
Like, she eats the coca plant.
The coca leaves, yeah. Oh, man. You know what's funny is watching...
Where, like, she has to be the strongest character in Archer, right? Like...
Yeah,
she should have died.
She's a Hulk. She is easily the most badass.
What episode is that? That's a couple episodes later. But we're just jumping around and shit. When she rips the fucking rope off. Because Archer, you gotta tie her down, make sure it's tight, and they think he's being like a pervert, but he's like, no, she's gonna fucking rip this shit.
Yeah, that's when she's being Hulk. That's when during House Call. What? Yeah. I'm looking over my notes and I was laughing. I was laughing really hard because I wrote, rest in peace, Ramon. And then 2 notes later, not actually rest in peace, Ramon. I didn't remember the twist. So watching it, I was oh, man. They got me.
Rest in peace?
I also was cracking up. So obviously it turns out it was all a plan with Ramon, but the return of, what are they called? Rudy and who was the other guy's name? The Thomas Lennon and Ben Garrett characters.
Was it Charles?
Is it Charles? Charles and Rudy? Yeah, that sounds right. Charles and Rudy.
That sounds right. Probably wrong, but it sounds right.
Where's Mikey?
Nope, you're right. It's Charles and Rudy. It is Charles and Rudy.
Okay.
But the return of them, I like that they set up earlier when they were like reminiscing about the honeypot episode, and Archer's saying like, "Oh, I wonder what happened to those guys," and he gets cut off as he's saying it, and then they show up like one scene later. They're the informants. But I loved the whole interaction with the fondue set, them bringing back the
that was
fondue
great.
set. And he's just like, I need $80 for you to replace it because of the fork. And he's like, all right, well, here's $1 million, and we'll call it $1,080,000.
Yeah.
$1,080,000. Oh, it's so good.
How'd they lose a fork? Where'd they go?
Yeah, what did they do with it? I don't know. We'll never know. But hopefully he got a new fondue set. I need be a bummer if Ramon never got his fondue set back.
That's the main hanging thread of Archer.
It's the most important.
It can't cancel until they settle that.
Yeah, I don't really care about his dad. I just need to know.
Yeah.
I also love the ending beat of this episode when they reveal that it was all faked, that all their deaths were faked, and they're sitting in the hot tub together, and Rudy's just trying to like get him to explain why the plan was good or smart at all. and he's like, well,
why did we do this whole second part?
This way they think we're dead. And then the ending beat is just, it was still a stupid plan. It says it so many times.
It's always funny when you just repeat it. Like, it's the funniest thing.
I love that beat. It's so good. So good. Oh man. Anything else about this episode stand out to y'all?
Let me think.
This is the stuff with they do a lot of that this season though, with like Carol singing. And they do a lot of that, like they take advantage of it and create like montages and shit while she's singing. And they make things really exciting that way. And I think that's introduced here because I wrote that in my notes that I really like the stuff they do with her singing.
Yeah, me too. Like I meant to look up who they got to sing for her. Shirlene singing voice. Gonna look it up right now. Jessie Lynn Martins, who is a country music singer. Don't know her, but she
checks out.
She did the Shirlene vocals for the show. And they're great.
You ever watch Archer with subtitles on Hulu?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
because they don't fucking know her name. They'll put
it's always like Cheryl or it's really funny.
And they do just switch off what they call her. Like obviously this season she's Shirlene, but she's like at this point she's been Cheryl, and then at one point in the season Archer calls her Carol again. Like it's just they switch between all of it. It's really funny.
Doesn't she have like a name tag that says Cheryl or Carol? Just like a nameplate.
She did. No, that was the first joke when they did it. He kept getting it wrong, and then she changed her name and got the new nameplate, and he still was getting it wrong. It's so funny.
I love Cheryl. This is like my favorite Cheryl, like of Archer.
I like this Cheryl too. It's really funny. Shirlene's funny. Also, the music is just good.
Yeah.
And that's a fun like subplot of the season. There's some weird subplots this season that I didn't remember were this season. Like I remember the music one was, but I forgot that they introduced the Krieger clones this season.
Fam, I thought like I just like ignored that the first time I watched this because I was like, what the fuck?
How'd you?
I don't remember.
That's the best. That's the introduction of the clone bone.
The clone bone.
When they do the reveal that they clearly leave with a clone. Very clearly.
It sure feels like it. Yeah.
Very, very clearly.
I don't remember if they ever follow that up or not.
He's calling him the wrong name. He doesn't have the fucking bow tie on.
They joke about it every so often, but they don't ever really follow up with it.
Right. That's so funny. Oh,
that shit is rough.
All right. Anything else about A Kiss While Dying? Should we move on?
Is this the first episode where Ron shows up?
No, Ron shows up in season 4. Ron starts. Oh, you mean this season?
This season?
Yeah,
I think so. I don't think he's in the first one.
Yeah, I don't remember when he shows up actually. I don't remember if it's this one or the next
I really like him this season for his short time here.
I like Ron. I like Ron in general. He's funny. He's a funny character. Yeah, we talked last time about how it's Jessica Walter's real life husband played Ron, which I didn't know until recently.
There's a line where like she yells for him, and like you can't yell for someone like that and not be married. The way she says his name, it's really good.
His real name is Ron. That's so funny.
It's also just crazy. It's crazy how damn good of a voice actress Jessica Walter is. She is just like I feel like every single line delivered by her, she makes funnier. Like she just makes better and funnier. Just she's so expressive in her voice, which comes through when she's acting on screen too. But like she's just so good in this show. love that character. All right, should we move on to A Debt of Honor?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, A Debt of Honor. This is the Yakuza one, right? This is the one where they who are they trying to kill? Pam?
Yes.
Yeah.
And trying to
Pam,
kill Pam.
like tries to get amphetamines from them.
Right, that's right. She gets amphetamines. She gets hooked on amphetamines. They call her Cokie. They call her Cokie Monster.
Cokie Monster.
Cokie Monster is so good.
The fact that it's episode 3 and they've already introduced a new drug is so funny.
Can I tell a quick amphetamine story?
Let's see.
It just happened. I was watching before this podcast, I was watching a Lifetime movie with my roommate. It is called Cheer Camp Killer, right? They're at a fucking like a party, and they got like cups, vodka. I don't know how old these kids are supposed to be. I can't tell if they're supposed to be in college or high school.
College.
Anyway, I would hope so. They're fucking drinking vodka and shit. But anyway, one of the girls is clearly trying to set everybody on the team up, but she's like playing the nice girl card and shit. And then she goes, they're drinking vodka with it, which they're already not supposed to do. And then she says, "Oh, wait, hold on. I got to go get my amphetamines." And she fucking walks out the room, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And like, who the fuck talks like that? I gotta go get my amphetamines.
I gotta go get my amphetamines. Oh my god! Yeah, that's the verbiage of an undercover cop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I gotta go get my amphetamines. Why don't you guys pull yours out, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. Does anyone have any class 3 narcotics here?
Hey, D'Angelo, you know that I just watched it this morning. You know that fucking Recess episode where the kid they meet that new kid, and it's just like a fucking cop, and he's like in the bathroom shaving.
Yeah, he's beard. Like shaving. He takes off the hat. And he's like, he has like, why they?
There's a Recess episode with an undercover cop.
He's like he's like an undercover kid, but he like has to shave and he's like balding underneath his hat.
Yeah, and
that's so funny.
It's Jason Marsden, right?
Which makes it funnier.
Right, when he's with the kids, he's doing the Max Goof voice. But then like when he's like shaving and shit, he's doing like his normal voice. It's so funny. They find out that he's like a fucking narc.
Yeah.
Episode's good.
It's like a super Randall.
Good shit.
And he tries to blame it on Randall. All right, never mind.
Save it for the video.
Right. Respectfully.
So
not featuring HatsOffMedia.
Yeah, not featuring Tariq.
I feel like this episode I didn't like, I don't know, I wasn't following the story as much, but I just like kept laughing so much at all of the Pam drug stuff. Like there's just so much good Pam drug stuff in this one that I was like, man, it kind of overshadowed the rest of the episode for me a little bit.
This episode is just stuff happening in the episode.
Yeah, pretty much. My favorite line, I think this is the one where she does the like cocaine, which is so funny, and it's also technically a callback to when they did a flashback last season where Krieger was like modifying their guns, and he's just sitting next to a pile of coke and he's doing the same drumming. He's going,
oh yeah, he is.
So it's actually a callback, which is really funny.
He's just like naked, just like
But there's I think it was Lana who said this, or someone said it. They're in the car and they go, "I am so bored," and Pam just goes, "Have you tried cocaine?" It's so funny how much mileage they got out of Pam just being coked up the whole time.
In the opening, there's a bit that is 1000% the most cartoony thing done on this show. And it's when Pam just fucking stuffs her face into the coke and like does this.
Yeah, she's just like sweater.
Oh man!
Wait, is this the episode where Woodhouse falls down the steps?
No,
there is Woods.
I think that's later. This is the one where the fucking something happens to the cell phone, and then
at the end.
Archer starts laughing because it's Woodhouse's phone, and then Lana laughs.
Lana she's just like.
That was so funny.
That little laugh that Lana did took me out. Like, why?
I know, me too. Because you're so used to that ending beat just being like some joke at Woodhouse's expense from Archer. It always is. Right. So you're expecting it to cut away, but then for them to just have Lana crack for just a second is so funny. So funny.
Poor Wood. He gets it bad this season.
He does.
Yeah.
He does fall down the whole show. He falls down when he fell down the steps. They don't do the entire joke, but they kind of bring that the fucking the chef episode with a pan.
Oh, the little pan clatter.
Yeah.
It's really
funny.
funny.
Bring that back a little bit when he falls down the steps.
Love the pan clatter. Oh my god, that's such a good episode.
So dumb.
Good stuff.
Poor Wood. I left him in the swimming pool.
They did leave him in the swimming pool for a long time.
He like sets up his army bunk.
Yeah. I also wrote that I love Archer's black suit in this episode. He's wearing a great outfit this episode. Love it when they got good wardrobes. Show's got a lot of good wardrobe actually.
Yeah.
I love how they look this season. Like, because most people are they're like in a lot of casual clothing. I love Archer's stupid like polo shirts. They're so good.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff. You guys got any other thoughts on Dead of Honor? Was that George Takei guest starring?
Was it?
Maybe.
I think it was.
That'd be funny if it was. It was.
I mean, the guy had a very deep voice. The head of the Yakuza.
Moto.
Let's see. Yeah, Dead of Honor. I was right. Glad I wasn't wrong about that. But yeah, that's just George Takei has one of the best voices of all time. Dude's great.
Yeah.
Valid.
Love George Takei. I was actually just watching a Star Trek movie. I was watching the original, the first Star Trek movie, motion picture, which is very slow. One of the slowest films ever to ever exist. But holy shit.
Those like 5 hours long.
The visuals of that movie are fucking insane though. That movie is like a crazy drug trip whenever they're showing anything related to like the whole premise is that they discover this big like trippy
Don't they find God?
They don't know what it is. No, that's a different movie. That's a different Star Trek movie. That's the fifth one, and definitely the worst one. Directed by William Shatner. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about George Takei's voice recently, so it was nice to hear him in this.
During lonely nights.
I wouldn't have laughed if you didn't laugh, D'Angelo. Man, this episode is this is the one where they just pull out all the fucking this is all the racist stops. Okay.
Like Cheryl says gross and Chinesey. Like
yeah, she does.
Nah, you see when she says that her granddad was screwing all the asses of all the colored maids.
That's right. That's
dressed
right.
Dressed as a ghost.
Yeah, dressed as a ghost. And then I think Ron talks about going to the club or something, and Lana says, "Let me guess, with some Negroes." And he's like,
"As luck would have it." He's smoking some reefer.
Smoking some reefer. I was fucking watching Bernie Mac, the Bernie Mac show the other day, and he was like, "Don't come to my house smoking all that reefer." And I was like, "Damn, I haven't heard reefer in so long."
It's a funny word, and I think people should use it more.
We should bring it back.
Yeah, we should exclusively refer to weed as reefer on this podcast
Reefer madness.
from now on. Yeah.
Yeah, Reefer Madness.
We've got Reefer Madness now. We're mad that people don't say the word reefer as much as they should.
Yeah. Get on it. Hashtag Reefer. Wait.
Hashtag reefer.
Wait.
Good stuff.
Retweeted by Not a Cop.
Should we move on to House Call 504?
One more thing, I did want to say all the antique weapons were really cool from this episode.
True. I like that stuff.
I liked Archer's the way he kept reloading his gun after he shot it in Modo's face.
And this is the one. Cool. This is the one where Ron gets shot, right?
Yeah.
Is it this one? Damn,
yes, this one.
Shot earlier than I thought.
Because Archer, like, he's breaking windows, and then he stops, and then Lana yells at him because she thinks he's doing it again. But it's because they shot through the window at Ron.
They shot Ron, right? For sure. Poor Ron.
Yeah.
Okay, so House Call. This is a fun one. This is basically the CIA checking through the mansion, so they're like trying to hide the cocaine and everything the whole time. But one of my favorite jokes I wrote down was I think it's in the cold open when Pam's eating all the cocaine yogurt and Archer tries it.
Yeah,
and it goes, "Oh my god, this is yogurt. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good. It's amazing."
And he goes, "It's good because it's cocaine." And he goes, "Oh my god, and little kids eat it." That's so funny.
He's so detached.
This is also Hulk Pam episode. This is the one where they tie her up, and this is the first time she's skinny, right? She's like skinny in this episode.
They like pan over to her, and she's like, okay.
This is the one with the reveal. Like in the last one, you can notice it a little bit. They adjust the model a little bit, but this is the one where like there's a big reveal. Like, oh shit, she lost a lot of fucking weight.
Yeah, because she's addicted to cocaine.
Right.
I love Hulk Pam though. Pam just hulking out on cocaine is so funny. Like she really does feel like an actual monster when she's hulking out.
Yeah, she's scary. She's so strong. She's already so strong. Then she gets coke strong.
Exactly. She's already so strong, and then she's got cocaine running through her blood.
This is the King Kong shit. This is when she just puts Cheryl on a fucking
right. Yeah, carries her through the whole apartment. Yeah.
Even in the second one, before she got super addicted, like she beat Archer in a fight and like slammed his head against the concrete.
That's true. That's true. Man, good stuff. This is like a fun this is just a fun episode because it's kind of like the suspense of like, is he gonna find it? Is he gonna figure it out? It's similar to that bottle episode from like season 2 or 3 where it's the what which one is it? It's the one where they kill the Prime Minister of Italy, right? And then the cops show up and they're searching the premises the whole time, so they have to like keep it a secret.
I love that
what
one.
they've done.
Yeah, that was good.
That one's really good.
So it's got
Archie
similar
making
vibes
spaghetti.
where it's just someone searching through the house, like hopefully not going to find the obvious crimes they've committed.
Yeah.
But what I love about House Call is that it's got some really nice like touching moments. Like I love the reveal that like Archer was actually just been looking up baby/pregnancy stuff up on his own because he's worried about Lana. He's just like actually worried about her. That's sweet. And then there's like the moment where she gets emotional and she's like, she like tells him that she can't leave him. And
that was sweet. I love that.
Really
that's
sweet.
So good.
Yeah, really good stuff.
This is a good season for Archer and Lana.
It is kind of the season. Like last season, there was a bit more. They started moving forward on that a bit more, and like did a good job showing him seemingly just being a little bit better of a person in regards to their relationship. But this season is like definitely fully the like Archer and Lana seeds being planted for them to like maybe be a thing again. Because he cares so much about her. He's so worried about her the whole season. It's sweet. Also, when this is the one where they reveal, isn't the like solution at the end that, or maybe it's not the solution, but they reveal that he's got the house has a bunch of secret tunnels because her like uncle was trying to tap into the Underground Railroad.
He was trying long after it was done.
Yeah, and thinking it was literally an underground like subterranean railroad, like a literal train under the ground.
Man, every time a fucking cartoon references that, it makes me think of I think it's that Simpsons episode where they find out that they're like a 12th black or some shit like that. And
whoa, that's a thing.
Oh yeah, it's called The Color Yellow, son.
That's
Color Yellow. Oh my
god! I promise. And
what season is that? That's got to be mid-era, right?
It's in the 20s.
It's in the 20s. Early 20s?
Yes, I would say yes.
The Color Yellow.
That's wild. Wild.
I don't fucking. But they in the episode, because they find a diary upstairs from an ancestor of theirs who they find out later. I guess they find out later that like the family owned slaves, but they really were trying to free the slaves. Like it was like some like really convoluted shit. But anyway, Lisa was explaining the Underground Railroad, and then Bart was like, "Wait, so it wasn't underground?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Why didn't they just call it the above ground normal road?" And then the entire family's like, "Yeah." The entire family's like, "Yeah, why didn't they do that?" And it's like, shut the fuck up, man. So
oh my god, that's so funny. The above ground really normal road.
Like even Lisa's like, yeah, that's a good point. Like,
yeah,
what the
why
fuck?
did they call it that?
Like, don't agree with him.
That's super funny. Oh man,
that's like the steps to growing up. It's just like, oh, it wasn't a train. Oh, it wasn't underground. Oh.
All right. Well, should we move on? You guys got any more to say about House Call?
Nah, that was
I like how Pam steals the cocaine. Like she like
what
hoses
is
it down.
Is that this one?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. She just hoses it down and just collects it in yogurt cups.
That is pretty funny. That is just funny.
Oh my god,
that's a really good way to steal cocaine.
It is.
It's really funny.
Okay. This is the one where they do the mind control chip.
Mind control chip.
Oh, and
the one that
the
one that fixes
right.
the one that fixes Charlene's stage fright.
Right.
Oh right, that's in this one in House Call?
Yeah,
or is it in the next one?
No, it's in this one because they come down and it's like we could either fix Cam's cocaine addiction or
that's why Cam runs away.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
He's like on one hand we have Charlene, on the other hand tits.
All right, well, let's move on to 505 Southbound and Down. This is the episode where they're trying to get Charlene cross country because she won't fly, even though she's flown many times. She decides she won't fly.
That was Cheryl.
Yeah, Cheryl. Even though, and she also flies later in this season. She's choosy.
They do get on a fucking plane, don't they? At the end,
they get on a plane a few times. Yeah.
Hey man, outlaw country.
I like this episode. So it's like them trying to get to, what is it? The not Austin city limits, something county limit. What was it?
Travis. It's like
Travis County limit. Like, is that it's
because
comparable.
it's like, is it like Austin? Just like it's comparable.
it's comparable. I wrote down that this is fun because it's weirdly, even though it's like a road trip episode, but it's also kind of a bottle episode because it all takes place on the bus and in the car. So like it's kind of a bottle episode, even though they're physically moving the whole episode. Like they're still they're only in the car and the bus pretty much the whole episode until the end. But yeah, I like the chase stuff. Chase stuff is fun in this show. They tend to do a good job with like chase sequences, and so have a cross country chase scene I think was pretty fun. Yeah, I wrote Archer's still worried about Lana, smiley face, and man, they really just keep losing cocaine.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they lose like 100 pounds.
They lose so much.
I don't remember what episode it is in here that I wrote this note, but I wrote that they are really fucking bad at selling cocaine.
Yeah, they are.
They're fucking
really bad at
it.
They're not just bad at selling it. They're just bad at keeping it. Like,
yeah, they're bad at everything related to cocaine, except for Pam is good at doing
except
it.
for eating it.
Right, yeah. They're really bad.
That's so funny. But yeah, I don't know.
Start a lick bag.
It's a funny
lick bag.
And then I guess the whole thing that she brought coke was like Pam's secret thing. She didn't tell anyone she was bringing the coke with them, so that put them in danger. Getting chased by biker gang and cops is fun. That's good stuff. This is like
Pretty
just
cool.
a generally pretty fun episode.
It's animated really well. The chase is highway chase is animated really, really well.
Yeah, I really like the chase.
And
also,
the one with when Krieger just goes like, "Oh yeah, all I gotta do is reboot Ray and he can walk again."
Yeah, it's just like
and everybody's like, "What the fuck?
Why didn't you do that sooner?"
Well, think how much happier he'll be when I do it now.
I love that.
I felt so bad for Ray. He was so depressed for the first few episodes.
Yeah, he's a fuck. That's my first note is that he's a fucking mess. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, it's so gross.
But also, like, to be fair, he did spend a whole season pretending to be paralyzed before this.
Yeah.
So like, he's almost had it coming. Like he's
and then he does it again.
He's not squeaky clean. You know. Yeah, he does it again this season.
Is that this one?
Is
that this episode?
No, it's
no. That's still
I believe
later.
it's Smuggler's Blues. It's when I think it's
that's the one with Slater, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's one of the. It's
when
it
like
starts
in the
to get,
jungle.
It starts to get really serialized in a few episodes, and it's one of those first three because they're like out of the country on a mission for 3 straight episodes, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What else did I write about this? I also just wrote that this episode, the freeze frame ending, is really funny. They do the freeze frame ending like Dukes of Hazzard style, basically.
Yeah. Old Snowball's at it again.
It's pretty fun. You guys got any other thoughts on Southbound and Down?
I like Archer taking the fall for Pam.
That was cute.
I like that, and I also like when they're arguing in the car, and then what is it? I think he's like trying to tell her the definition of irony, and then she's like, "Okay, so what's satire?" And he says, "No one really knows." While and I think they're like satirizing like Smokey and a Bandit while they're doing that. So it's like,
yeah,
man, that's great.
There were some really good Archer Pam moments. Like she's just like, everyone already kind of liked you, Pam. Well,
yeah,
I didn't hate you as much.
That's right. There's a moment where. Yeah, there's some good moments. Who do they relate her to? They relate her to someone else that, like, I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they say like you seem really gross at first, but you're actually really cool or something. Like people end up thinking you're really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's when they're trying to relate themselves to
fucking
characters
Breakfast
in a
Club,
show.
yeah.
Breakfast Club character, yeah, that's right.
Breakfast Club, yeah.
And he's the
janitor.
Yeah, because he seems kind of gross at first, but he's actually super cool and everyone likes him.
Yeah, so messed up.
Funny.
That's what they do that on the plane.
Yeah, it's on the plane. That's like towards the end of the season. That's Palace Intrigue, I think, which we'll get to. Okay, let's move on to 506 Baby Shower. So weirdly, I was looking at this episode. Weirdly, this episode is produced later than it is in the run, but it was still meant to take place here. Interestingly, because this is actually the 9th episode produced, and for some reason, when Archer was up on Netflix, all of the Archer Wikipedia articles on the Archer wiki were explaining how the episodes in the season were in production order on that, even though they're meant to be in broadcast order, because even though they produced them out of order, this is still meant to be here. So Baby Shower on Netflix, I guess, for years was 9th in the lineup, but it's meant to take place here because there's cocaine continuity that doesn't line up. If you put it in 9th, it's like in this episode they still have a bunch of cocaine, and if it takes place 9th in this, then it doesn't make sense because they've already gotten rid of a ton of cocaine.
Maybe
I love that he can track where you are depending on how much cocaine they have.
Yeah, that's called Cocontinuity.
Maybe they produced this later because of scheduling, because they had to get Kenny Loggins.
That's very possible. I could see that being the case.
Yeah, they had to get K-Log.
He's the fucking worst in this. Can I say that?
He is the worst. He sucks.
Funny. But he's funny though.
He's funny.
There's no way he's like that in real life. It can't be.
No, there's no way.
No, because if he was like that in real life, he wouldn't be cool with doing it in a fictional show. You know, like that only works. It only works if you're like if you know yourself well enough to know that that's not who you are. But if otherwise, it's just making fun of the actual you, and then you're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this to me?"
He's so insufferable. Why does he know karate?
My first note is just Woodhouse on the drums is the best thing ever. Woodhouse playing drums for the Shirlene track. I love it so much. It's so funny. I love the music. I also love that they are recording the music during golden hour.
Doesn't make it.
And then Krieger. And Krieger's just not recording it. Like he's like,
right. We're supposed to be recording this.
And okay, a little after that, speaking of Woodhouse, Archer gives Woodhouse $400. He's like, yo, if you fucking buy heroin with this, you better buy enough to fucking OD. And he's like, all right, gotcha. And he dips off.
He's like, radio.
And then later in the episode, he buys all that shit for the baby shower, and he says, I only had $200. So he clearly used the other $200 for.
That's so funny. I also wrote down that in this season, Woodhouse is just always making eggs. Like he's constantly making eggs this season.
They keep on spilling.
Yep, they keep ruining the eggs.
They're either spilling or late. Like your eggs are gonna
be your eggs are gonna be 4 minutes late, sir.
At least it doesn't make him eat any spider webs.
That's
Step up.
You are gonna eat so many spider webs. I loved the whole bit with the infinity pool, like them just being like, who would ever design a pool like this? and then they do the flashback to like Cheryl actually being like, why would you design the pool like this? This is a terrible idea. It's pretty funny.
Well, you're the men, so
yeah, right. You're the men.
I also wrote down that it was crazy that they have like a whole ass conversation while Archer is hanging from the infinity pool that is broken, holding Kenny Loggins with the other arm, and they just like have a conversation instead of just pulling them up. They're just like, let's just talk while we're hanging from this building.
That pool is terrifying. You couldn't pay me.
There's a movie. It's a really bad movie. It's one of those Jason Statham movies. I always mix up the Transporter and the Mechanic, and I think it's the Mechanic. I think it's one of the Mechanic movies. Mechanic movie, but there's a whole sequence with an infinity pool that's just it's not an infinity pool. It's a ledge pool off a skyscraper. So it's a full ledge that has a glass bottom. So when you're swimming in the pool, you look down and you see the street. Mechanic movie pool. Let me see if I can.
The Mechanic.
I don't like that shit.
Mechanic 2. The Mechanic 2 has a tower pool that is like hanging off. The movie's terrible, not worth it, but watch the scene if you want to get a lot of anxiety about pools.
I don't.
Got it. Yeah.
I've almost drowned like 2 times. I don't want to go for a third one.
Well, you won't drown. You won't drown in that pool. You'll just fall to your death. So it's different.
That's way better. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even fucking look at it that way, Johnny. I think all right.
It's fine. It's fine. Maybe you'll drown on the way down.
If you manage to drown falling down,
you just get
at that point
very intensely water. You're just basically getting intensely waterboarded as you're falling.
Yeah, that's
off a skyscraper.
That's like gravity water. That's gravity waterboarding. That's not cool.
All waterboarding's gravity.
Can you fucking
you're right.
Man.
Trust me, I know my waterboarding, Dean.
This podcast took a turn, man.
Of course, I come in for the waterboarding episode. That makes sense. That checks out.
You brought it with you. You brought it here. You been doing this before.
I also feel like it's possible that they maybe did initially mean to put this episode at 9 because because 10 through 13 are very much like the finale, where it's like those are all connected and lead up to the end of the season, and 9 almost feels like the more of the emotional catharsis of the season. It feels like it could, like, I remembered the Danger Zone cover being at the end of the season in my mind. It just like feels like it feels like an ending type of thing, of some kind of ending, you know what I mean? And so to realize that it was only halfway through the season, I was like, oh, this is way sooner than I thought it was. So it's also possible that it was meant to be 9, and then they realized, oh, we should just have 7 through 13 be continuous, because they are all very serialized, and then adjusted it to take DLC. Place 506, right? Yeah. But man, I love the whole end of this episode so much. Everything about the baby shower is great. Charlene and Kenny Loggins singing Danger Zone is it's a great cover.
Yeah, she gets mad at him. He's like, can you match me? And he's like, can you play?
I also liked I loved Lana, like, Archer being like, this is the big thing I did for you. I got you Kenny Loggins. And she's like, what? He's like, Danger Zone? And she's like, that thing I say? She's like, oh, I guess you say that.
Yeah, never heard Danger Zone.
So who's the guy with the beard?
Yeah.
I love that. But it's also just so sweet. Like, there's just really sweet moments between Lana and Archer, and even like it's a funny moment, but it's still sweet. I love when she's getting all the gifts and Pam gives her the gift and just goes, "It's cocaine," and Lana goes, of course it is." It's so good.
That just means she's still getting into the cocaine. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They still haven't stopped it.
They accept it.
And I like this ending. It's got a joke. It's got like a joke at the end, like they all do, but it's like mostly a sweet ending. Like, it doesn't. The ending of this episode feels sweeter, especially because it doesn't go out on a punch. It goes out on a joke, but then it continues to play Danger Zone cover into the credits, so it feels more like a continuous, like, it's weird. It's like a cathartic finale vibe almost. Like, it feels so sweet. Whereas normally what they do is they do the joke, and then the huge part of like the huge sting part of the theme song, where it's like with the horns, where it's like bum bum, as the like punch to the joke. So like it felt the ending joke, end beat joke, just felt different this episode, which I liked. Right, yeah. It was sweet.
They do that a couple times after this in this season.
Yeah, especially the finale. The finale we'll talk about when we get there, but it doesn't have a joke. It doesn't end on a joke for the first time in the whole show.
It just kind of stops
for the first time in the whole show, which we'll talk about it there, because I think that's a good moment to do it in. But great episode. You guys got any other thoughts on Baby Shower?
No.
I just love seeing Kenny Loggins act like a dick.
Be an asshole. Be a fucking weird asshole.
It's the fucking worst, man.
Oh, good stuff. All right, well, let's move on to Smuggler's Blues. So this is where the season really gets serialized, because basically 507, 508, 509 are all very continuous. Like, they are all connected to each other directly. Like, they end with the characters not back in the office, and like continue the next episode with them out still. And then 510 through 513 kind of are the same thing, but like 510 still is super connected to 509, because the inciting incident of why they're doing what they do in 510 is what happens in 509. So it's still like, it really does feel like at this point the rest of the season is just fully serialized, which is cool, because
Columbia,
right? Because the first half of the season, I always remembered this season being serialized, but the first half really isn't that serialized. There's like overarching elements, and they connect certain things, but it doesn't feel like any of the episodes like end and then the next one picks up immediately where it leaves off, up until this stretch. Which is cool
though, because like that's the point, because it's Archer Vice. It's like an 80s show.
Yeah, and it feels like they and it also feels kind of like they're easing into the trying out the serialization thing. They do the first half more episodic, and then the second half more serialized. And then, you know, it feels like they learned a lot doing that, because when you look at the serialized seasons that come after this, like I guess I've only seen Dreamland, but they dropped those episode counts to 8. You know, I guess they maybe knew, oh, maybe it's best if we do like a shorter serialized season. Whereas this
I think
is
they're
like,
mostly 8 now. Because the
they
last
are all
season
8
was 8.
now. Starting with Dreamland, everyone was 8, except I think for some reason Vice is 9. Vice has 1 extra. Yeah, or not. No, sorry, not Vice. 1999, Archer 1999 has.
That's a space
extra.
one.
Yeah, that's the space one, which I haven't seen.
I've only seen Dreamland too. I meant to watch the other ones, but it got away from me.
That's where I ended, was Dreamland. I'm very excited to watch Danger Island in 1999 and the new season.
Dreamland's good though.
They got picked up for Dreamland's cool. I feel like I wasn't laughing as much, but it was just like cool. It was just cool storytelling. I liked it a lot.
I just like seeing Butch Tam Cop. It's pretty good.
Yeah, true. Great. They do some good character stuff. So Smuggler's Blues. I didn't write down a whole lot for this episode, but I wrote down that I really like the Archer, Ray, Cyril trio. I think they have a fun dynamic together, because they're all very different, and none of them like get along super well together. You know what I mean? They all kind of butt heads in different ways, which is fun. Yeah. I also like cracked up hysterically when Archer's trying to fly the plane in the cold open, and he's like, "What's the worst that can happen?" And Cyril points out that he almost crashed, or he crashed the spaceship or whatever, and he's like, "Oh yeah, remember that, Ray? You got paralyzed. How do you not remember that?" Just remember you got paralyzed. It's so fucked up.
I love when Archer just messes with Ray. Like, he called them like a nut. When he's like, "You nut." or was that Cyril? I think it was Cyril. It was one of them where he was just like, he just pokes him and just like, "Ah, you nut."
Oh man. Yeah, so this is the one with La Madrina, right? This is where they go in, they're trying to sell, and they go without telling Mallory, right? They go to try and sell a bunch of cocaine to, it's like a Colombian cartel, right? To like a Colombian group, so that they're going to sell some of it to them, and then hopefully be able to sell them the rest of it so that they can get rid of all of it. But obviously it doesn't go as planned. They get there, as seems to be the case all of the time in this show. The drug lord is a gorgeous woman. Like, it's just a constant thing, is just like, twist, they're hot. They're a hot woman. You know? But
they kind of pulled out all the stops for her too. Like, I was like, she looks better than like the average like hot girl in Archer.
Yeah. And then she tests the cocaine. It's all good. It's all very pure. And then she just like has very kinky sex with Archer for a good chunk of the episode.
I love how it starts, because he just keeps choking. Like, every time she mentions.
And then she basically, like, as soon as they're done boning, she reveals the truth, which is that she's what, an undercover what? What is she undercover again?
I think she was just undercover, like just in the government.
Yeah. And
she's in the government.
She arrests. They get all 3 of them arrested, which is a good setup. Like, that's a good.
All the coke is seized.
All the coke seized. It's not all the coke they had, but it's all the coke they brought with them to Colombia. So all it's seized.
Yeah.
They get arrested, and that's the end of the episode. It's like a full cliffhanger. They're literally arrested in a paddy wagon, like getting driven through the jungle at the end of this episode.
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, full on. Like, so like I said, this is where it really gets it really starts to get serialized at this point. And then you guys, I mean, was there anything else that stood out about Smuggler's Blues? Like, I feel like at this point I'm so interested in like the serialization of the season, but we do still got to talk about the individual
There's
episodes.
a moment that I really like with Mallory, where she's just like yelling and screaming at Lana, but then she like breaks down and like the facade cracks, and she's just like, just just save my son. Just
Yeah.
like, aw, she really does care about Archer.
Yeah, she that's happened a couple times. It's like even in season 1, I think she literally puts out a burn notice on him because she's mad at him.
Right,
So
yeah,
and then
yeah.
and then she realizes what she's
Right.
done, and she's like, "Holy shit! Did I just kill my son?" Like,
Why did she?
Yeah.
I forgot she did that. Why'd she do
Fucked
that?
up, man.
It's because I believe it was because he was going to defect to Odin, he was going to defect to the other spy agency, the one that Barry was at, that Len Trexler ran, and then she got pissed at him about it and put out a burn notice, something like that. But yeah, Mallory's the worst, and then she occasionally realizes she's the worst.
Yeah.
Right.
A small moment of clarity.
Right.
Yeah.
This episode has a joke that fucking ruined me when I heard it. It was because the voicemails are always funny, but like Mallory calls Archer and they say the voicemail box of, and then he just fucking laughs.
And this was also the one where
so funny.
was it
This one is like the elaborate one.
Yeah,
this one?
It was this one where she calls, but she calls Ray's phone, and and then Archer put the elaborate voicemail on Ray's phone,
right?
And he explains how he did it and how the insane lengths Archer went just to like secretly put that voicemail message on Ray's phone is so funny.
And his only takeaway is like, yeah, it sounds a little compressed.
Yeah, it sounds a little compressed. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's so elaborate.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, you guys got any other thoughts on Smuggler's Blues? Should we move on to 508?
This one last thing isn't really a note, but we always talk about like what time period the show takes place in, and Krieger on his phone,
the lack of time period.
Yeah, on Krieger's phone though, there's an Instagram parody on his phone.
Oh really?
Yeah,
it's called
like
well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
but
the
his
thing
phone has a
like,
fucking keyboard still, so I don't.
Right.
It doesn't.
Well, that's the thing is like it feels like visually all of the technology is from the 60s and 70s, but it all functions in a modern way. Like they talk about watching video clips on YouTube, like in season 2 with the movie star episode where she comes to like shadow Lana. They're watching clips of her on YouTube, and it's like, well, you're watching, and you're watching it
like
on like a Mac 2. Like you're watching it on.
They're watching it on like a computer that should only be able to show text.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Which I love. I think it's great. I think
it's great. I love the floating timeline.
I think visually that technology is so much more interesting than modern technology. And it also makes your show stand out. Like I would love if a fucking live action show did this. If a live action show just made the decision that we're going to get all old school technology for everyone's technology in this and draw no attention to it and use it like it's modern technology. I would love to see that. Like a giant brick. Imagine like a giant brick phone, like a giant brick cell phone.
People's jaw would drop if they saw a flip phone. Like
True.
So confused.
You're not wrong. I feel like now the implication of a flip phone in anything these days is that they're like, it's a burner phone that they're doing some shady shit with. That's like assumed no matter what.
Man,
that's why you make the president pull it out.
Phineas and Ferb wasn't that fucking long ago, but Candace has a flip phone for like 3/4 of Phineas and Ferb. And it wasn't even that fucking long ago. But I never understood why she does.
That's so funny.
It's probably the only phone they knew about.
Wait, no, it's because... But didn't that show... When did Phineas and Ferb start?
It started in 2007.
So the iPhone wasn't announced till 2008.
Yeah, but it ran for 7.5 years.
Yeah, but it all takes place over one summer. Right?
Get the fuck out of it. No, don't do that. Yeah, it does, but that doesn't matter.
It does matter. That's definitely their logic. If it all takes place in one summer, how's the technology gonna improve over that summer?
Wait, are you trying to say Phineas and Ferb takes place only in 2007?
2007? Get the fuck out of here, Johnny.
As someone who's barely seen any Phineas and Ferb, I'm firmly saying that it all takes place in 2007, and that's canon.
That's part of the cocaine continuity.
Shit, man.
That's co-canon.
You get out too. I'm gonna do this podcast by myself.
We might have to name this episode. We might have to name this episode on YouTube. Archer Cocontinuity. Cocaine.
Yeah.
Can we put the word cocaine in the title, or will we get demonetized?
We gotta. This will save us the panic that we usually go through on Monday mornings. Where we're like, "Fuck, what do we call this shit?"
Yeah, we gotta start thinking of them while we're. We gotta start thinking of them while we're recording more.
You gotta get them in the heat of the moment.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes we've come up with good ones. One of my favorites we came up with was since when we did Rick and Morty season 3, and we called it Mind Blow Kyo Drift. That's a pretty good one.
I didn't think. Hey, don't laugh that hard. I didn't think you was gonna laugh that hard.
It's funny.
I like what was it? Tariq and Johnny do Beavis and Butthead do America.
That's pretty funny.
we might have just called it Johnny and Tariq do America, because the other title would have been really long. But that is funnier. That is a funnier title.
I like that one, and I like
Tariq and Johnny also do America.
Yeah,
that's funny too.
I'm gonna change it right now to also do America.
Also do
America.
This is good.
Changed. Done. Maybe we'll get some more views, because that's one of our least viewed episodes. But it's a good movie. Everyone watch it.
I was just telling my roommate, because he was saying that I asked him if he saw it, and he said that he started the movie, but he said he never finished it. And I was like, fam, we gotta fucking watch that movie, because it's so funny.
Dude, it's such a good movie.
It
kind of blew my mind how I had seen it before, but it had been years, and it really blew my mind how goddamn entertaining top to bottom that whole movie is. Especially because when I think about Beavis and Butthead, you think about how it's like every single thing in that show is so bite-sized. Like the episodes that are narrative are short. They're like 5 minutes. Then they do like the music videos. Like nothing about that show. Like they don't even fill out a full 22 minutes of one story in that show, let alone a full movie's worth of Beavis and Butthead doing stuff together.
But it fucking works.
It fucking works. It's
really
great. I'm actually very excited to see what they do for this upcoming Beavis and Butthead movie. That's allegedly supposed to come out this year, but I don't think it will.
Nah.
Probably not. Everything's getting pushed back.
You know what I think made it work so well was that when you watch like a different show that goes to theaters, right, or like does a movie, you always kind of walk out saying like, oh damn, this kind of felt like a long episode. But I think the thing was that like Beavis and Butthead segments aren't long enough for you to feel like that felt like a long episode.
Totally.
Yeah. So like
that's funny.
Like, oh, this is just a good movie.
Like the first act of Beavis and Butthead Do America feels like an episode where it's just them doing something dumb and it gets them into something dumber, where they're just like, somebody stole our TV, so they're looking for their TV. Like, our TV's gone. And that feels like a Beavis and Butthead episode. Like, oh shit, we need to go find our TV. And then they wander into some bigger, sillier shit with the like people who are supposed to murder that guy's wife or whatever.
It's so funny.
And so like it almost feels like the first act is like, this could have been an episode. And then after that, it's just gets bigger and crazier and more fun. Oh, what a good movie. Good movie. Well, maybe we should go back to Archer. Good Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, all right. Next one.
508 is Rules of Extraction. This is so basically they escape the paddy wagon that they're being arrested in because it crashes, and then they have to float down a river to try and escape, basically. It feels almost like a sequel. It almost feels like a sequel to the Pipeline episode in season 2, where Archer and Lana are basically floating down a river the whole episode. And there's a lot of gators in that one. That was the first one they started talking about gators, and then this one's got a ton of gator talk. My first.
These are crocodiles.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, okay. It's all of the above.
Do they make a joke about that?
They do, and I think that's why I wrote it.
They
because Archer knows a lot about them.
he knows a lot about every single kind because his three biggest fears are alligators, crocodiles, and brain aneurysms. His three biggest fears.
And isn't his fucking favorite movie Gator?
Yeah, he loves Gator, starring Burt Reynolds.
I think it's Gator, but he like flip flops between like another one.
Yeah,
like,
but the other one's a Burt Reynolds
or...
movie too.
Yeah, he just loves Burt Reynolds.
Loves Burt Reynolds, his surrogate dad for an episode. Man,
he
that
just
was
kept laughing at him.
So good. But yeah, like this is the first episode of the season that just picks up directly where the last one left off, and it's like, oh, okay, well, like they're literally they need to be extracted from. They got to get out of Colombia. Are they in Colombia? Are they in Colombia for these?
Yeah. Or
do they go? It's Colombia for this, and then they go to San Marcos, a fictional country, for the end of the season.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of fictional countries in this. But yeah, like again, for these 3 episodes, I really like the Archer Ray Cyril dynamic because they, like I said before, they all just like hate each other in such different ways. They've all got like such different problems with each other. And it's funny when like sometimes Cyril and Ray are just like pissed at Archer for the same reason, but then sometimes Ray will just like side with Archer when they're making fun of Cyril. It's really funny.
Like Cyril's patheticness brings them together.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. Yeah, it's but this one I like the stakes in this one. Like, they're on the river and Archer's scared of the gators, and then Ray sets the. Oh wait, no, what happens first? Who do they? Oh no, it's gators first. The gators show up first, and then he tries to shoot the what's it called, the gas canister to blow them up, right?
It doesn't work,
but it doesn't explode, so they just get covered in gas and leave.
Right.
And then Ray sets the whole raft on fire.
Well, before that, Ray throws the fucking hat, and then he's like, "Oh, they got a taste for," and then he thought they were gonna say human. He was going to say human flesh, but he's like, "No, I was gonna say hat." But
he got a taste for hat.
Taste for hat.
Oh man.
Oh no.
Yeah, I admittedly, this was my first episode I threw on this morning, and so I was a little tired, and I don't have many notes for it. Do you guys have any thoughts on Rules of Extraction? I was still waking up this morning when I put this one on.
See, the guys getting eaten by the crocodiles. That shit was terrifying.
That was messed up. It's pretty so detailed.
Yeah, they go pretty nuts with a lot of the action in this season, and there's kind of a lot of gross stuff, I feel like. Like a lot of.
Is this the one where Ray throws out his back?
So he doesn't throw out his back. What happens is when they crash the wagon, it's played like he's paralyzed again. Like once again, his bionic legs have stopped working. Right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
I think so.
Or do they say he just threw out his back? Because then Archer's.
I remember there's a scene where like he tries to lift up the car and he like throws out his back and he can't.
Oh, maybe that was it. Maybe I just misremembered.
I don't know if that's that season or if it's a different season. I remember his legs break a lot.
Yeah, well, that's like the whole recurring thing. But this one, he's like, Archer's carrying him this episode and the next episode, and then there's like the really funny.
Oh yeah, he just leaps down.
Basically, Archer just like admits that he's a huge asshole, and he's just like, "I just wanted to hear you admit it," and then he gets off and he just starts. And he just walks forward like he's fine. He's totally fine. It's so funny. And
he's cool with it. He like laughs at it.
Yeah, he does.
He's
at least he's self-aware.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm into that.
That's pretty good.
On that note, should we move on to 509 on the carpet? The third in this little serialized trilogy.
There's one other really important thing in this one. This is the one where like Mallory kind of breaks. This is like because that's when Lana's like, oh shit, like I think like she's like literally at like wit's end.
Right, I think you're right. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't they try and like relax her? But like it fails.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is what happens.
Yeah.
And then this is also when I think, is this it? When Lana thinks that Archer knew the whole thing the whole time, like something like that. Like
No,
that
that's
he
the end.
lied.
That's the end.
That's the end.
That's the end.
I think they start to talk about it earlier.
They start
Well,
talking
like,
about it though, don't they? Because there's like a
I
back
think
and
so.
forth thing. There's
yeah,
like a
they're
back and
just
forth scene with her.
like Lana's just very convinced that Archer knew about the cocaine thing the whole time. But that is a nice moment in the finale, which we'll get to soon. Yeah, good stuff. All right, well, on the carpet, my first note is just Christian Slater, LOL.
Yes, he's just called Slater,
and they don't even draw attention. They don't have even a character be like, you look and sound just like Christian Slater and your name is Slater.
No.
He's just literally Christian Slater and his name is Slater.
And that's why it took me till the next time he shows up for me to go, who the fuck is this? Then I looked it up and I was like, wait a minute, what are they?
Wait, it's Christian Slater.
It's so funny.
They pulled that in the last season with Eric Andre. It's basically just Eric Andre.
It's so funny
Really?
because
That's
he's played by Christian Slater, and it looks like he shows up in season 6, so I didn't even remember that he is actually in a lot of episodes of season 6, which is interesting. Maybe that's I wonder if that's how they get back into the spy game, is through their connection with Slater at the CIA, right? Now that now they do actual sanctioned spy work. Is that how season 6 works? I don't remember.
Yeah, because that's how the season ends.
Right. That's right. Right.
But it's not Slater. It's the other guy.
It's the other guy. But you got to bring back Christian Slater playing Slater.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I don't even remember what he said, but Cyril says something, and Mallory just says, "Because you are a timid man, Cyril." And like that made me laugh so hard.
You are a timid man. Yeah, they kind of rail on Cyril for like 2 episodes before the big reveal.
Right. And this is also kind of a weird episode because even though it does follow up the previous episode, it's all done through the lens of this flashback, where it almost feels like some kind of murder mystery, where like, they're all in the parlor together, and Mallory's like, all right, what happened here? And which is kind of weird. Like, I almost felt like it didn't need that framing device. It almost felt like it was because they were like maybe it was because they were a little wary of like 3 serialized episodes in a row at this point, that they were like, well, let's frame this one around something else. But it was weird because they cut to that, and then they keep flashing back to the events that take place immediately after 508. But I really like the plane stuff. I guess the plane stuff, you know what? The stuff we were just talking about was in the last episode when he's pretending to be paralyzed, then he just gets up. And then they get in the plane at the end of Rules of Extraction. And in this one, the whole thing takes place on the plane landing it, right? Like trying to get back to the United States with the plane full of cocaine.
Oh, that is this one. Okay.
Yeah. And then they land, where is it? They land in like the Everglades or something. And that's where Christian Slater is. Right. And he doesn't even care that the people who are supposed to meet him there aren't on the plane because they brought the cocaine.
Right.
Which is pretty funny.
This made me realize how often Archer goes for Randy.
He loves being called Randy. Yeah, he's what is he, Rando in this? He goes Rando.
He's Rando.
Yeah.
And the only note I have for this episode is when he says, "Ma, they don't kill the old Rando."
I love that him and Slater get along for like a little bit. Like
classic Rando.
Yeah, classic Rando.
And then he goes by he goes by Randy. Did that start in Honey Pot? Was he Randy? when he was pretending to be gay in season 1 with when he was trying to
was he? Maybe.
So.
I don't know. I don't remember what name he went by.
I just remember his outfit.
Yes,
yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I remember that.
Sure
roller skates and shit. Yeah.
So funny.
Classic Rando.
Yeah, my favorite joke in this episode was the reveal that like Krieger's been spending all this money to build the submarine, and he built it in the pool, and Lana's just like, "How are you gonna get it out of here?" He's like, "Damn it!"
He just blows it up, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah. Man. Yeah, this is it's kind of a weird episode because it is like it does feel like there's two things happening at once. There's like all of the stuff in the parlor or whatever with like conveying all the information, and then it keeps flashing back to all of the stuff on the plane. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have many other thoughts on this one. How about you guys?
Nah, me neither.
No, that's about it.
I love Christian Slater as Slater. That's great. Good stuff. Okay, well, let's move on to this last stretch, which basically are all pretty connected. Like they're all very directly connected. So
Archer
I guess
movie.
The big thing to know at the end of the last episode is that Christian Slater takes the cocaine and then loads their plane up with a bunch of weapons. And now they're expected to go sell those weapons to the dictator in San Marcos, which is a fictional country, I believe.
Give me a sec.
Yeah, give me a second. San Marcos is a real country.
You just pissed off our entire San Marcos demographic.
all 12 of them.
They're fucking heated. They're ripping their cartoons that curse shirts off right now.
I fucking died at there's a joke at the beginning and they're on the plane and Archer says something like, it does kind of feel like we're on a school bus, and Lana goes, "When have you ever been on a bus?" And he goes, "No, Lana, like from the movies." That's his only understanding of buses. It's like from the movies.
Like from the movie.
It's so good. But it's also interesting that like I guess they had to do this because these last 4 episodes like they wanted everyone to be involved, but like the whole team goes along for this. Mallory too, like the whole team goes to San Marcos to sell this stuff. I guess Pam and Cheryl weren't supposed to go, but they stow away again, as they tend to do at least once a season. They stow away somewhere.
They eventually are just like, you know what, you guys just come because you'll come anyway. So
yeah, right. Exactly. You'll find your way here. So fuck it.
Yeah, that's funny. And this is when they have the whole conversation about Pam being the janitor from Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And Lana being pissed that they won't give her Molly Ringwald.
I'm obviously the hot one.
I don't understand where they're coming from. She's the hot one. If you ask me, she's the hot one.
Is this the episode where Archie just randomly kisses like Charlene?
Does he? I don't even remember.
There's an episode where it's like a crash and he just like kisses her and then he just throws her.
I don't even remember that. How did I miss that?
I think it's from this season, but maybe it's not.
It's Mandela, bro. That shit ain't happened. You saw some.
You know it happened. It for sure happened.
You watched Archer.
Archer.
No.
You watched Arthur Vice.
That's Arthur and Francine. That's what you watched.
I love that the dictator is obsessed with Charlene. That's really funny. Like she's already a huge success, and
like he's the reason.
Also a great guest performance. I'm pretty sure that was Fred Armisen, who is very funny performer. Loved his performance as, I can't remember his name, but the dictator of San Marcos. Yeah, and then this is the first one that reveals the Krieger clones. I also just think the palace is a really cool location. I think there's a good reason to do 2 episodes there because it's just a great location for the show. Like I like when they go to fancy elaborate places like last season they're in the Vatican. That was a pretty cool location, even though that episode's kind of mid. But yeah, just visually I like this one. Archer,
all the sets in Archer always look so good.
They do. Yeah. They really look good.
Especially this season. There's like so many cool locations.
I think this season had a big step up visually. Like it looks really nice. Mm-hmm. There's the whole subplot with the dictator's wife pretending to be a maid and seducing Archer.
Yeah.
Was it in this one or the next one when it's in the next. Oh no, I think it's in this one when Archer's like confessing to Lana that like what happened with her and like that he's worried that he's going to get in trouble about it. And Lana's just like, what does what does anonymous sex mean to you? Because he tells her earlier that he's having less anonymous sex. And he's like, I don't know, like bird masks or like someone you just meet on the train.
Bird masks.
It's really funny. Yeah, I like these episodes. Like these ones kind of blend together a little bit, even though they're a little they're a little separate. But I think the palace is a cool location. And then I guess we can move. Do you guys have any other thoughts on part 1, or should we just talk about part 1 and 2 together?
Kind of just bleeds into the next one. I think we can just.
Yeah. I do. There's a gag in this one that I really like. It's when they're looking at that painting that's like just a fucking blank canvas. And Archer, like, almost, they literally play it up to where you think he's gonna fucking spit take, but he just swallows it.
right. It's because he knows, because it's the spit take of how expensive the painting is, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, and so if he spit takes, he's gonna ruin the painting. So he swallows it. It's really good. It's really funny. That's good physical gag. And then the reveal of the Krieger clones, fucking Krieger clones,
that shot is so funny because he cries.
Yeah, he's so like wouldn't that like rock your worldview though if you just walked into a room of 3 of you, like 3 upper youths?
And it's funny because I love the Krieger clones, subplot. But I did not remember it being in Vice because that's so like it's so sci-fi in a season that's otherwise 80s Vice themed, you know? It's like drug cartel themed, and they're like, oh yeah, also here's a little subplot about Krieger having clones.
That's how those 80s shows were. There'd always be like one weird one.
Right, for sure. Yeah, it's so funny to me. And they did kind of set it up because they showed Krieger trying to clone himself in other seasons. Like they have that shit going on. And then they introduced the Kriegers in part 2, and
they all wear their bow ties.
Yeah.
So
no,
funny.
aren't they wearing regular ties, and then ours is wearing a bow tie?
Ours is wearing a bow tie.
Ours has a bow tie?
Yeah, ours has a bow tie, so we can differentiate.
He does that. Yeah, he does that quip at the end because they try to fucking strangle him or something. He's like, you can't do that with a bow tie. And that's what made me realize, like, oh shit, we got the wrong one. Because he makes a point to say, I forget who he's talking to, but he's like, yeah, nah, I kind of said fuck the bow tie. I realized that normal ties are better, and I was like, is this the fucking wrong Krieger?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
They leave it ambiguous though, because he also gets a little head trauma. Like,
man.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, does the guy just think he's the normal Krieger? Yeah. I don't know if they ever follow this up, but I'm excited to keep watching.
They definitely don't.
Hey, you've only watched through Dreamland. You don't know. We got 4 or 5 more seasons to go. Yeah, I really like the stuff with the dictator, and like just the fact that they're like the whole subplot with the rebels and his regime and everything, and like their realization that they're potentially just arming a dictatorship. It's pretty fucked up.
I like the dictator talking to Carol, and he's like, he says Jorge Washington, and then she says, okay, so I'm just gonna act like I didn't know that I was pronouncing his name wrong all this time, so she doesn't even fucking correct him.
Yeah. Jorge
so funny.
Jorge.
I just love that he's the only reason she's like chart topping.
Oh wait,
Right. Yeah, he buys
Part
the
two,
million records, so
yeah.
it goes platinum.
Part
It's so
2
funny.
starts that bit that they do for the rest of the season where they just keep fucking smacking everybody.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
Because it always ends with the last like really hard smack.
Right. Oh man.
My friend
yeah.
did that to me once.
I like
that's
this
rough.
two-parter. I think these are good. I also love visually when Cyril's going to try to find a car, that like all of the cars in the garage. They had to design so many cars for that scene, but they look so cool. There's so many good ones in there. Yeah, I like that shit. The extravagant wealth of dictatorships is visually fun to watch.
One
in
can
this
only
episode.
dream.
All right, should we move on to 512 filibuster?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Let's do it.
So
What's
this also basically follows this up directly because they Cyril takes over San Marcos. He becomes the dictator of San Marcos, which is so funny. And then Archer and the previous dictator and his wife are in jail. They're in the prison of the palace. Everyone else is chilling, enjoying Cyril's dictatorship.
Yeah, everyone's
apparently.
just like they're cool with it.
Mallory especially, because Mallory is, so I know you don't watch Star Wars, Tariq, but Lana has the reference here that's basically revealing why Mallory is going along with it, and she's just like, oh, I realize it now. Cyril is just the Vader to your Palpatine, which is a Star Wars, like Vader is like the right hand man of the real big bad, the Emperor, and so that's the reference there, which is pretty accurate.
Yeah, it is.
Nice ref, nice Star Wars ref which makes it's good for our 80s season, our Archer Vice season, which since most of those, the original trilogy came out in the 80s. Although they didn't reveal the Emperor's name was Palpatine until the prequels, which came out in the 90s and 2000s. So not perfect, but you know, we'll let it slide. Archer. We'll let it slide, Archer.
Better luck next time.
This is reminding me of that fucking Simpsons bit with the comic nerd is like asking the itchy and scratchy animator why he like hits one rib and it makes one sound one time, and he hits the rib again and it makes a different sound.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we supposed to believe that this is some sort of magic xylophone? Oh, it's so good. Man, I truly love The Simpsons. I'm
glad you finally got into it.
Dean, that's what I've been saying to you for the last 2 months.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've watched so much Simpsons, probably like I don't know.
He was about to say more than us, but that's a lie. That's a fucking lie.
I think on any day I could never claim that.
I watched a lot the last couple months. I watched basically seasons 9 through 11. I've pretty much almost finished 11 at this point, I think. So I'm making my way through the Scully era, and I was right. I am so nostalgic for these episodes because they were like the ones that were airing when I was. They were the new episodes when I was most into The Simpsons. So you know, I was watching all the reruns, but the ones that I watched on Sundays were like mostly these, and these are the ones I've seen so little over the course of the last 15 years. So it's been fun. It's been a nice rewatch. I also think season 9 is really good. I think season 9 has some really good episodes.
I threw in that Faith Off episode because I've never seen it before. The one where Bart is like, you know what's funny is that is the episode I am on next. Yeah,
I'm at that one. Yeah,
I like it's. So it reminded me of a problem that I have with those episodes is that like I'll fucking if I enjoy it, I'll really like the first and second act, and then it'll just go somewhere else in the third. And I'm like, where the fuck are you going? Like it's like it'll go to like some completely different. And
these seasons in particular, the Scully era in particular is very much like it almost feels like every act is so segmented because like they've always kind of had that in The Simpsons where they have something happening in the first act that leads to the real plot, but with the Scully era, they feel so separated. Like it's such a completely different premise for the first act, and then it dives into like, here's what the plot of the episode is, and then the third act is usually like, oh, the fallout of the plot is takes them to an even crazier place, right?
Right.
It's the jockeys in Battlestar Galactica, you know? Like
right, exactly.
It's that kind of stuff.
Because I like that, like Don Cheadle does it's fucking Don Cheadle. And he does a great job. I love Don Cheadle. Anybody that knows me knows that I love Don Cheadle. So he does a great job.
Best Donald Duck?
The song's good. He's the best fucking Donald Duck, man. They should have kept him as Donald Duck for the rest of his life. That's what made me. I still want to watch DuckTales one day and like really watch the whole thing. But like, I almost watched the entire series in a weekend when I was like, wait, is he just fucking Donald from now on? And I was like, no, okay, it's just that one time. Okay, all right, never mind.
You should watch it. That's like Disney's best cartoon in like.
Yeah, people love that DuckTales. I gotta check it out at some point. I was like, I have some nostalgia for the original show, but I didn't like watch all of it. I just watched it when it was on when I was a kid, so I'm not like super attached to it or anything.
I wasn't like, I mean, I watched a lot of DuckTales growing up, but like, I more so have like as a whole, like Disney Afternoon, Disney like One nostalgia, and that's where that pretty much came in for me.
Oh,
for sure.
Did you get those books?
Did they say they're here?
I don't know. I was just asking.
I haven't checked the mail today. So
comic books?
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't opened it yet. I got it.
You got yours. Okay. There's some surprises.
I'll check the mail and see if I got mine.
Should I open it live right now? It's right here.
Fuck it. Do it live.
You guys can hear me open up this package.
Yeah,
listen. If you're just
ASMR.
When I was moving, I didn't want to give my comics. I didn't want to throw my comics away, so I gave them to all my friends.
Yeah, it was very nice. Here we go.
What you got in
Not
there?
gonna show you guys my address.
Right.
Hell
Why
not?
Is that for the Patreon?
The last time I did that, Tariq.
Oh, you got Shrek at your
all
fucking
four
door.
Shrek movies.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I love the art on these damn Futurama comics. They're so good. Look at that cover. That's so sick. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Futurama comics. Hell yeah. Oh, you threw in some Simpsons.
Yeah, I did.
Hell yeah. These are great. Here's Homer selling Radioactive Man t-shirts.
Are there any Bartman ones?
Well, let's see.
There's a Bart Simpson one. It's
Not
not a Bart man.
Yep,
though.
here's a Bart Simpson comic. I remember this cover. vividly. That's funny.
I know I have a bunch of Bartman comics.
The Radioactive Man event part 2. Where's part 1? How could you do this to me,
Tariq? You ruined him.
Hey, man! I must not have went to the comic book store that month.
I wish it was issue 1 of 2. It'd be even funnier.
That would be funny.
Just imagine Johnny at like 2 a.m. just like, oh, that was great. Not for the next issue. now for the next issue. Then where's? It's like looking at the phone. That's when you shake the comic book and a note falls down from Tariq, just like, gotcha.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Let's talk about the finale. The filibuster. Okay, I love the tiger.
I'm about to say, did we even talk about the filibuster?
We talked about it a little bit. Okay, so but let's talk. I want to talk about the tiger. Love the tiger.
Tiger's great.
Return of Tigers and Archer's
And
obsession with
Archer's
tigers
weird
is great.
Doolittle ability.
He's such an animal person. It's so funny. What else? Do you guys have any other thoughts about this episode? Because the cliffhanger was great, but I don't want to bring up the cliffhanger until we talked more about it.
It's messed up how the dictator dies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Does he
the
get
fucking
eaten by a
tiger?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tiger gets him.
That
sounds
shit
right.
is rough. That shit is rough.
No, that's
oh,
good.
and then
that's
that
good. He owned a tiger. He shouldn't have owned a tiger. He got what he deserved.
that leads to a bit. I don't remember what Archer says to Carol, but then he says that was actually a proverb, and then she says that was actually a tiger.
Oh, it's so good. It's so funny.
It's actually a tiger.
Yeah.
Dean, you got any
the
other...
wedding?
That's right.
There's one with
That's
that
right.
sick ass wedding, and then Pam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where he like forces her to marry him.
Cyril
Yeah.
is so gross in this. He just becomes the worst person ever.
Right.
But you get it though, because he's been Cyril for the rest of the season, so he needs a break.
Fair.
It's a piece of shit.
Man. Yeah, Cyril sucks. Cyril's the fucking worst.
I like in a few episodes where him and Krieger kind of bond over porn. It's really funny.
Yeah,
Because
I
they
do
watch a lot of the same stuff.
too. Yeah. It is funny because like Cyril is very rarely outright talking about it, but he is very often like subtly hinting about all the porn he's into. Yeah, it's good stuff. But I love the end of this episode because it's the my water just broke cliffhanger, which is
Right.
it's a great cliffhang. That's a good suspenseful cliffhang for the end of an episode. And then the end, the finale, Arrivals Departures, which is a great name because it's the arrival of the baby. The baby is born. And the departure from San Marcos from the airport. It happens at the airport, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So one of the things that they said a few times in this episode that cracked me up is Cheryl like routinely forgetting that Lana's having a baby and then just being like, she's having a baby, and she goes, gross.
She's just like, gross.
Gross.
She keeps saying it.
Yeah, this is like a big action-packed finale with like the government, like the U.S. government coming on to like bomb all of San Marcos. Basically, it's crazy.
Right, yeah.
And the whole time they're trying to disarm a missile.
Right? Yeah, it's got so much going on. They're disarming a missile. The government's coming on to try and potentially like to blow up the palace and a lot of the country. The baby is coming and they have to escape. Like there's all these things happening, all of it at once. It's crazy, but it's fun. I really enjoy this episode. I think it's a fun one. Do you guys have
watching all the Kriegers fight to the death?
Yeah, the Kriegers fighting. Did only one survive? Did the Krieger we followed die? Is that the implication?
All 4 of them fall.
Okay.
They all fall. So
and then
that's why
one
I'm
returns.
Like, right. And I remember watching it going like, did he just fucking die? Like I didn't think that's how they were.
I was scared. I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, no, not Krieger. I love Krieger.
Right,
and also, this is his first season where Lucky Yates gets opening titles credit. So like, it would have been a bummer if they killed him after this season.
Yeah,
that's
he
something we didn't
it.
talk about. They add that little extra note to the theme.
Yeah,
the
theme is a little different. They changed the color palette to be Vice themed. They actually changed a couple animations. Cyril's got like a walkie-talkie now in the opening. So like,
but they had
Archer has like the cool suit.
Yeah,
right. And they had to extend the instrumental, so there's like
to add Lucky Yates in, right?
Yeah, so they got him. Yeah.
Hell yeah, I love the Archer intro. Good stuff.
It's really cool. It's fun watching it change.
Editing note for me: is D'Angelo frozen for you, Johnny?
No, he's not. We're
okay.
talking to him. Can you hear him?
I can hear him.
Right.
He's just frozen.
Oh, great. No, he's not frozen for me. And
also, all right, he's good now.
All our videos are recording on our own machines, so we should be good. We should be.
Right.
They are. Was I supposed to be recording something?
No,
No,
the website
no.
does it for you.
The way the website does
Okay.
it is it records on your machine and then it uploads it to the cloud. So even if we see the
Right.
stream differently, here's a little inside info on how Zcaster works, folks. It's yeah. So regardless, as long as we're in here and it's not like totally frozen and we haven't lost internet, we should be in good shape.
Awesome.
Okay.
I thought for sure I had something I had to do and didn't.
Nah. What if you just fuck the podcast up, bro? What if you just fuck the pod up, bro? Now we gotta.
Yeah,
Wow,
it ends with
D'Angelo.
me. It ends with me.
We gotta do this shit all over.
We're done
again.
forever. This is over. I really think this is a great. I think this is a great season finale. It feels so big and crazy, but also there's personal stakes with like the Lana stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. I really like this one, and also funny. It's a funny one, but it does
Like
feel
that Archer
like
became a doula for her.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the ending is really sweet. Like Lana expressing how upset she is that Archer lied to him, or let Archer lied to her, and then and Mallory being like, he didn't know. I swear to God, he didn't know. Like Mallory doing something nice for Archer, basically, which is so rare.
It's so funny. It's just like, oh, it must have hurt you so much to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they also like, the big reveal at the end of the episode is that Lana used Archer's semen sample for her pregnancy. So it was, and they even tied it into some other stuff to season 2 when he had cancer. And
Yeah.
so they do some retconning where he basically saved some of his sperm just in case. But they do a really funny thing, which is that when she's explaining it to him, he like zones out and you hear the like almost like the flashbang sound. Yeah, the tinnitus sound. And then they foreshadow the coma seasons by being like, I just thought that maybe I was in a coma since I saved your life 8 months ago, and maybe I was just waking up from that coma right now.
Right.
Which is funny because like that's literally what they do for 3 seasons later. They like, and those are all the other themed seasons. Like this is a themed season. It's they hint at the coma thing, and then 3 seasons after this, they do the coma thing for real.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But I mentioned this earlier. I think it's crazy that this is the first time any episode of this whole show doesn't end on a one-liner joke. They end the season on like a real emotional beat, which like literally never happens. Like it's literally never happened. Even when they have an emotional beat at the end of an episode, they always undercut it with a joke. And this is the first time I've ever seen them not do that. But it's nice.
Were they already renewed? Did they think they were going to get canceled?
I think I don't know. I expect they were probably already renewed. The show was a really big hit for FX, and it's still on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I just think it won't die.
Yeah. Everyone thinks it's going to end, and then they keep renewing it. I'm really curious. I mean, I obviously haven't seen anything since season 8, so I have no opinions about the modern stuff.
The last 2 seasons have been pretty good, especially the last one. The last one was great.
I'm excited. Oh wait, so have you been watching the modern seasons, but not?
I just haven't seen the Dream ones.
You haven't watched 2 of the Dream seasons. That's interesting.
I got excited because I was like, because it was like, oh, he's back. I was like, okay, I'll skip these for later.
Right. Well, we'll talk about them a lot when we get to them, but when you guys
do
they're also
12,
different.
I want to talk about 12.
All right, we got you.
Sick.
We'll do you're booked for 12. We talked about this before, but it's interesting because Adam Reed pens the script for almost every episode of the show, but then for the new seasons he's not a writer at all. So I'm just curious what the heck the show is like now.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Cool. You guys got any thoughts on this finale?
Man, I was so invested in it that one of my notes
didn't write
says
anything down.
Yeah, it says that I was so invested that I forgot to take notes.
Yeah, I felt that way for a lot of these last 4. I was really invested, so my notes are very skimpy for the last few episodes. But it's like I love the way that this whole season just ends with a full serialized like 6 episode arc. It's pretty cool. 7 episode arc. It's pretty
so
cool.
Energized and everywhere. It's great.
And just like it's so interesting how you can just change something ever so slightly about the show. Like the core dynamics of the show don't change, but you just change you just slightly switch the perspective on the premise. So like they're doing similar shit, but now they're drug dealers instead of spies. And all of a sudden the show feels so fresh. Like it just has, oh, you got a dog? You guys, is that a dog barking?
No, I don't have a dog.
This is something we're gonna have to deal with in your new apartment. You got dog.
Close the window. All right, that didn't happen. Okay, we're back. All right.
But yeah, this season feels so fresh to me. Like I remembered liking this season, and I remembered always enjoying it. But watching through it again this time, I was like, wow, this is definitely one of my favorite seasons of the show. Like probably top 3 of these 5 seasons that we've watched. Probably maybe top 2. Like I think my favorite is still season 3, and then season 2 and 3, or seasons 2 and Vice are like kind of on par as my second favorite, I think. But man,
I usually get stuck between Vice and season 3, but I think Vice is just so different and so fun, and so like they take a lot of risk, and like it all pays off because like
totally
such a solid season of TV.
It really is, and it doesn't feel, and it's really impressive how it doesn't feel significantly different, but it does feel different enough that you really feel like it's fresh, you know? So like it's not a changed show, but it is new in a way.
Gives them some wiggle room to like stretch out, try some new things.
Big fan of Vice. Big fan of Vice.
Yeah, man.
What about you guys? You guys got any other thoughts on the season as a whole?
Yeah, I think I've said this before, but when I think of Archer, I do think of this season because this was the one that like when I first binged the show, like this is what stood out to me, like all the shit with like Pam and like everything like that, like it really stood out to me. And yeah, even rewatching it for this, I enjoyed the fuck out of it. It was a blast. Like if anything, like they kind of do that are we not doing phrasing? They do that like 50 fucking times.
They do that so many times, but
they try and bring like
phrasing.
a different joke.
It just replaces phrasing because it's the same joke. It's the joke. The punchline is still phrasing, but now that they've done it so many times, they're just like they change it to, can we unretire phrasing, please?
Like what's they try and replace it with like his like says Ripley to the like it was so clumsy. They knew it was.
Good season. Good fucking season.
Like no one likes it. It's so funny.
Should we rank them?
Yeah, we should. Dean, did you rank these?
Dean, did you rank? We didn't ask you.
No, but I will.
Okay. Try to write it down. It's hard to do off the top of your head.
I'll just pull up the episodes and I'll do it right now.
All right, go for it.
Live?
I'll go first and I'll go slow so that you have them.
Yeah.
There. Okay. Also, like, I had a hard time ranking the season because so much of the enjoyment of this season is that it's all connected and serialized.
Right,
so, like,
absolutely.
Even like I feel like putting episodes low on this list don't necessarily indicate like if I didn't like them, because I still like them in the context of the season. Like, there's not really any episodes this season that I don't like.
Yeah.
So here we go. Starting with 13, On the Carpet. 12, A Debt of Honor. 11, Rules of Extraction. 10, Smuggler Blues. 9, Southbound and Down. 8, Filibuster. 7, Palace Intrigue Part 2. 6, Palace Intrigue Part 1. 5, A Kills While Dying. 4, Arrival/Departure. 3, House Call. 2, White Elephant. And 1, Baby Shower.
We match up a little bit around the middle.
As per usual.
Yeah, right. We always match up a little bit.
We always match up a little bit.
Dean, I could go.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let's do 13, Smuggler's Blues. 12, The Rules of Extraction. 11, On the Carpet. 10, A Kiss While Dying. 9, A Debt of Honor. 8, Filibuster, 7, Palace Intrigue Part 2, 6, Palace Intrigue Part 1.
Wow,
5,
we nailed
House
those 3.
Calls. Yeah, we really did. 5, House Calls, 4, Baby Shower, 3, Southbound and Down, 2, Arrivals / Departure, and 1, White Elephant.
Hell yeah, that's a good list. We mostly
Thanks,
had
man.
stuff on. We mostly had our stuff on the same halves. Like we mostly had all the different orders. A couple things change here and there, but that tends to be the case with us a lot of the time. Is we don't have the same order, but we usually have all the best ones on the top and all the worst ones on the bottom, and they kind of matched.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Dean, you
All
ready?
right, it's your turn.
I'll do my best. Okay. So I guess for 13, I'm gonna do a Debt of Honor. Then for 12, Southbound and Down. 11, I'll do On the Carpet. For 10, maybe Smuggler's Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Am I on 9?
You're on 9.
Yeah.
You're on 9.
You're doing a good job.
9, I'm gonna do Rules of Extraction. Then 8, I'm gonna do. Let's see. A Kiss While Dying. 7, I'll do Baby Shower. 6, I'm gonna go for I think Palace Intrigue Part 1. Then 5 was Part 2. 4 Filibuster. 3 Arrival Departure. 2 this one's hard.
So are the last 2 you have White Elephant and House Call?
I think I'm gonna go House Call then White Elephant.
That's right.
Good choice. Good eps. That's
Yeah.
the order. That's the order I had those into. Yeah, Archer Vice, baby.
Let's go knock the pod episode out the park.
Hell yeah.
My favorite season. Such a good season.
It's great.
It's really good.
So I guess now we should decide and or announce that we're going to take a break from Archer for a little bit. We will return to it at some point. Oh wait.
Stop it.
Our producer has something to say. Michael Yunez.
I just wanted to chime in. I didn't watch Archer Vice in anticipation for the podcast, but I do love it. Good times. And like you just mentioned, this will be it for Archer for now, but I do want to implore you guys, not just for the podcast, to watch a season 6 episode. It is called Vision Quest. I don't know if you guys have watched season 6 before at all, but there's a bottle episode called Vision Quest that is such a tribute to the characters and the running jokes that they've built up through the first 5 seasons of the show that I think privately you guys should, before we move on to our next show, you guys should watch it, because with all of this Archer fresh in your minds, I feel like that episode is just an all-timer for me.
Okay.
That
It's a good episode.
That's great. That's the elevator one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that is a great episode. Maybe, I've been enjoying Archer, so I might even just watch through it and take notes just in preparation for whenever we get back to it. But but we got some other stuff to watch.
That'll be funny to
watch
look back on your notes.
Yeah, and try to remember what they were. Oh man. Yeah, so that's that. So that's our Archer miniseries for now. And I believe what we're going to be moving on to, what Tariq and I have decided to move on to, is a little show called Home Movies. One of the earliest Adult Swim original animated series, which it started on like UPN, right? It started on a different channel.
It started on UPN, and then they were like, "We don't want this shit." And
yeah,
like every other cartoon UPN made.
Right.
Right.
It's like Baby Blues, except they didn't make any more, allegedly.
It's just like Navy Blues or Mission Hill or just keep going.
So I'm excited. Home movies is one of my home movies is a favorite of mine. It's like a nighttime sleepy time show for me. I usually put it on before I go to bed, and it's like I giggle myself to sleep. And I'm very excited to cover it. So we'll do 4 seasons long, 10 episodes a piece. It'll be relatively easy for us to cruise through. So over the next 2 months, you'll get a bunch of home movies, and then we'll decide from there what we move on to next. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. So home movies, you can watch it on HBO Max if you are trying to follow along. And I'm very, very excited to watch through it and talk about it because it's a great show.
Me too, can't wait.
So I guess before we sign off, I just want to remind you, Patreon's live. If you like our content and you want more of it, you get extra episodes every month if you sign up for the Patreon, and they're fun. Our first one's out and it's fun.
I'm on there a lot more too, so
it's true. If you're a Mikey stan. If you're a Mikey stan and you want more Mikey, then you gotta
You do.
But yeah, Mikey's he's
if you're
a
a
full
true
co-host.
Mikey head, subscribe to the Patreon.
Mikey Hive, rise.
This is Mikey's plan.
This
is Mikey's plan all along. We're gonna build up the pod, and then he's gonna gain his own cult following in the Patreon, and then he's gonna spin off into his own thing.
I'm gonna spin off.
Mikey with an exclamation.
It's like it's a new video for all my fans. All my boom mics out there.
Boom mics. Get the fuck off our podcast.
Oh man!
Please.
Eventually, I'll be starting the podcast, and I'll be like, "Welcome to Cartoons That Curse. Here are my guests, Johnny Two Shells and
Fan favorites.
He's just taking it over. He's just taking it over
once again.
I'll gaslight you guys. I'll be like, guys, it's always been my podcast.
Yo,
don't you remember?
He gets like Carrie just to draw him 2 times.
Yeah, it's just 2 Mikey on both sides.
Dude, I'm like, guys, when was the last time you looked at that logo? Have you looked closely? It's me on both sides.
Oh my god!
I really did bring this to the podcast. You guys talked about waterboarding and gaslighting.
2 of my favorite things. Just kidding.
Look what follows you.
Oh man. All right. Well, that seems like the time to sign off. D'Angelo, you want to plug yourself? What do you got? Tell us about you. Tell us what you got to.
We keep fucking
plug.
calling him Dean. They don't know what we're doing.
I know, D'Angelo. I'm just so used to calling him Dean. No one else does that except for us.
Yeah.
It's fine.
D'Angelo.
But yeah, D'Angelo. Me. I'm D'Angelo. That's me.
What's your Twitter, man?
Okay. So I'm D'Angelo. I run a YouTube channel called HatsOffMedia. I've recently returned to making videos, so you can expect a lot more coming from me soon. I recently did a video about this really weird manga I read. It's really good. That's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. I worked really hard on that one. Some of my other favorite videos I did like an hour-long video about the Addams Family history. I've talked about a bunch of other stuff. I just like talking about stuff that I think deserves to be talked about, or maybe was talked about unfairly. You can also find me at HatsOffMedia on Twitter, where I post a lot of my art. So I'm mostly split between YouTube and Twitter, but same name, HatsOffMedia. Check me out there.
Hell yeah! Everyone go do that. Hats Off Media, quality stuff. Hats off to Hats Off Media. And with that. The first thing I want to say is check out the Patreon. I also want to say thank you to Michael Yunez for producing and editing the show. Thank you to Kerrifique for our terrific artwork. Thank you to Jakeneutron for our amazing theme song. Thank you, D'Angelo, for joining us today as our special guest. Thank you to Toonrific Tariq, my friend, who is now in a whole different state and city. But we still love him. Whole new background.
Address redacted.
Oh yeah, I need your new address. I do need your new address so I can keep sending you stuff. Keep sending you random garbage.
Hey, I just saged the whole house. Don't send no frog shit here, all right? I can't have that shit in here anymore. No more frogs. I can't get another woman's small T-shirt.
All right, just send me your address, and I promise that I won't do any more frog stuff.
Wait, why'd you put it in front?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You see, I got you. I promise, no frogs.
No frogs at all.
Just wait till the housewarming.
All right. Well, that's enough.
Gonna give me a fucking lily pad. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go.
They need a house. You know what? They need a housewarming because they're cold-blooded. And with that, I want to say thank you for tuning in and thank you very much. Goodbye.
Yeah.